Hey guys, Lewis here. Welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing the Premier League season predictions for the whole season. So, so the season starts in about a week on the 12th. The first game of the season will be my club, Arsenal. They play Fulham at Fulham. Um, So games in 5 days actually. So the season is coming up fast, and I'm gonna be making a predictions on where all the teams will finish. So starting off from the bottom, I think there's three new teams that got promoted. So the three new teams that got promoted are Fulham, as I previously mentioned, West Brom, and Leeds. And I think two of the three teams are going to be going back down right away. So in 20th, I will be putting West Brom. I think West Brom, I don't really watch Championship that much, but I think they're. I don't think they have the players, and plus the only player that's really Premier League quality that they've brought in this during the summer is Mateus Pereira. He was loaned last year in the Championship from Lisbon. Now they've bought him for cheap, which is a good business by them, but I don't think they have the quality. I don't think they have the players, and I think they're just going to be going back down right away. In 19th, I think I'm going to have Fulham. Is this how you spell them? Yeah, okay. So Fulham, I think they're going back down right away because they do have a good manager. They have a young manager in Scott Parker, former player, former player for Fulham, former player for Tottenham. I think they're going back down right away because they don't have the best defense. They have to rely on the scoring exploits of Mitrovic, Alexander Mitrovic. But other than that, I think they lack quality. They do have a really good midfielder that's currently out on loan in Villarreal. I hope they bring him back because that will help them out. But I don't think they have enough. They've only brought in who did they brought in? They've brought in some players back from their team last year that were on loan, like um Harris Reed. They've brought in Anthony Robertson, a young upcoming player on the U.S. national team. I think. Let me check it out. What's his name? Yeah, from Wigan. Yeah, Anthony Robinson. Yeah, he is from. Oh no, never mind. I lied. I thought he was. Is he actually American? No. Oh yeah, he's American. Yeah, yeah. He's on the under 23s. All right, all right. He's American. So I'm gonna be interested in him and see how he does, and to see if he can push his way onto the national team. But I don't think they have enough to stay up. In 18th, I think I'm gonna go with one of the teams that got promoted last year, which is I almost put West Ham, but I don't think they're gonna be that low. Aston Villa. It's a toss up between Aston and Crystal Palace, because but I think Aston's gonna go down because I feel like they've only brought in one player, and the whole team's been the same. They kind of got lucky last year because the other two teams that were trying to like fight for survival, which is they got relegated, which was Watford and Bournemouth, were pretty shocking of itself. And that Aston Villa did get carried. They get carried by Grealish, Jack Grealish, um, as he kind of carried them in some of their games to ensure their survival. They got lucky because they beat us. I'm only saying all I'm gonna say this, but Aston Villa could have went down if they didn't beat Arsenal on the penultimate day of the season, on the penultimate game week of the season. So yeah, the first team that is gonna be barely staying up, and I think they might drop to Crystal Palace. It all depends on if they keep Zaha, but they did well on buying the Zaha replacement in Eberechi Eze from QPR, who actually played really well. How I knew about this was I knew about this because of FIFA 20 team of the season so far. That's how. It's not the best way for me to get my info, but it is what it is. Because I don't really follow championship that much. They haven't brought in too many players, and there has been rumors almost every summer that Zaha is going to get sold. And other than that, I don't really know if they have like the quality and or like the reserves to basically keep up with the other teams because I think the survival battle is between these four teams. These four teams here are going to be basically battling. They're duking it out for survival. It's 16th. I don't know who I'm going to put here. Oh lord. Um, who am I going to put here? Yeah, this is kind of hard. There's these mid-table teams are like unpredictable and like and you're unpredictable to place where they're gonna finish because like say last year Bournemouth weren't really expected to get relegated, and yet they got relegated. So, oh my lord, give me a minute. I think I think I'm gonna put West Ham. This is kind of low for them, but they might be higher. Or yeah, they might be higher because I think they're gonna be low because they have a shit defense. And they haven't bought any defenders at all. They've only brought back Suchek from loan last year. He was on loan. He was a loan deal in January, but I still feel like their defense is still shockingly bad. Unless if they actually improve it, and plus they have Moyes as their coach, so like I don't really have high hopes of them placing any higher, unless they prove me wrong. But they are going to be where they're going to be, and they will not be in this four-team fight for relegation. They'll probably be out of. They'll probably be safe. In 15th, I will be putting in Brighton. Brighton are gonna be in 15th. They've made some good signings. They've brought in Lalana. I think Lalana for free is actually good business because I still think he's a decent player, and he will probably be what Pascal Grobe did for them for from 2 years back when he was just spamming out assists left, right, and center. I think he was like one of the top assisters 2 years ago, but I think now like he's kind of free falling. Um, they brought in Joe Veltman, a good defender from Ajax. He was in their that team, that fabled team that made it into the semis 2 years ago. And then brought in Lars Den Donker from the Belgian league. I don't know much about this Den Donker. I think there's another Den Donker in Wolves. Leander Den Donker. I don't know if they're related, but he's decent. Lars Den Donker, he's a decent player. They've run some decent signings during the summer, which I think that will complement their play style. In that they they did lose Aaron Moy. He went to China for sums of money, but they've brought in a good replacement in Lalana, which will kind of offset that. They play a good style of football. They actually, from these mid-table teams, they will actually try and compete. Like how they beat Arsenal, they actually try to compete. They do have Ben White coming back from on loan from Leeds, which I will talk about them later. And in 14th, I'm gonna be putting in Newcastle. Newcastle today have brought in two Bournemouth players, two of the better Bournemouth players within recent memory. They brought in Ryan Fraser for free, which is pretty good because he was one of the top wingers in the 2018-2019 season. And they brought in Callum Wilson. Yeah, Callum Wilson last year wasn't the best. I don't think he did insane. Well, I'm gonna go check his stats first. So Callum Wilson had 8 goals. He had 8 goals last year, but at least he um is a better. He will probably fix their striking situation that they've had in the past. Where well, last season when they brought in who's his face Jolinton was absolutely shocking. Let me see. Let me see what he did. He didn't score too many goals. I think this will be a good move by Newcastle for bringing in Callum Wilson, which will help him out along with adding more depth with Ryan Fraser. Yep, he did score a lot of goals the year before, so scored 14 and assisted 10, which is pretty good, along with Ryan Fraser, who had a lot of assists. So these two are a good signing. So they only spent like 20 mil on Callum Wilson. And then they brought in Jeff Hendrick, he was rumored to be linked with AC Milan. It was pretty funny. But so they brought in two good players on free, and they've spent 20 million for Callum Wilson, but also they're gonna be bringing in Jamal Lewis from the relegated Norwich City for another 20 mil. So they will they spent 40 mil on they spent 40 mil on two players, which has actually been not too bad. They'll actually add Duff because onto their team. I do like Newcastle just for the fact that they have Gucci. That's the only. That's a simple reason. They have Gucci, aka Alan Saint Maximin, who is probably one of the most flair AF players in all of football. And 13th, I will be putting in. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting in Leeds. Leeds United. I think they'll be in 13th. They are by far the best team that will be. They won a championship, which is a statement that they are by far the best championship team, and they'll probably be staying up because they have what I consider one of the best managers in world football in Bielsa. If you don't know who Marcelo Bielsa is, Marcelo Bielsa is he is a world-renowned manager that has extracted the best out of the teams he's been in. So if he extracted the best out of Bilbao, he kind of extracted the best out of Marseille when they were leading League up during the season or two that was he was in charge in, and then the fabled Bielsa burnout, which did happen at Leeds during the first year when he was in charge of with them. But during the second season, the burnout didn't really happen as much, so they kind of cruised to the title. They do have a good team. They've brought in the players they've brought in during this transfer window. They've brought back Jack Harrison on loan. He was a decent contributor to them. They lost out on. They couldn't sign Ben White from Brentford Albion. Ben White was highly praised by Marcelo for the fact that he is a type of defender that Marcelo likes because Marcelo likes his defenders to because Marcelo's play style is that he likes to play it out from the back. He has this formation like he has like a they usually start out as a four back, but in game he has his wingers or his fullbacks be pushed high up to help facilitate play. Um, and likes to play it from the back. That's why he likes to have one ball playing defender, one or two if I don't know much about Bielsa, but that's what I've learned about him through the various videos. So he's brought in the Ben White replacement in Robin Koch from Freiburg. He also they've also brought in um Rodrigo from Valencia because Valencia is currently in free fall, and we'll be talking about another Valencia player later on in this video. They brought him on for 30 mil. Rodrigo, I hope he scored because last year he only scored 7 goals in Valencia. I hope he'll score more than 7 this year. And then recently they've been linked with from Fabrizio Romano. I think I'm going to be citing him a lot on where I'm getting my transfers from. Fabrizio Romano has stated that they are going to be getting. Who are they going to be getting? Jusco Gavardi. I think I Gavardo. I think I've butchered this guy's name. To Leeds for 20 million. He's a Dynamo Zagreb center back, so they're getting another center back on their team, and they are in talks with Rodrigo De Paul, an Argentinian center forward slash cam from Udinese. So they might be an interesting team. I think they'll shock some people through their play. They might shock some teams. So they're staying up just because of their play style and that they have the quality. And that Leeds have one of the best, I think one of the better, not the best, but one of the better youth academies in England. So this might be interesting to follow. In 12th, I will be putting in. What will we be putting in? I'll put Burnley. Burnley in 12th. I think Burnley. They haven't brought in much, but if they keep Tarkowski, they're a defensive team. The trio of Tarkowski, me, and Pope. If they keep them three, along with who is their manager? I forgot who their name is. Sounds like Bade. Sean Dyche. Sounds like Bane. Looks like Bane. They keep their Bane lookalike manager. They'll probably stay up. I don't have much to say about them. Just they haven't brought in anyone. They haven't brought in much players. The only player that they've kind of lost that was in their 11 was Jeff Hendrick. They keep Jeff McNeil. Is that his name? No. That's a baseball player. Oh, fuck. Burnley. Dwight McNeil. They keep in young, promising Dwight McNeil. I think they'll do well. They'll be in 11 because he is one of their bright attacking players. So they will try to have as much attacking as possible in order for them to win games because they have their defense is already good. Their defense is already decent. In 11th, I will be putting in. Jeez. This might be a toss up between them and Burnley. This might be a toss up. They'll probably interswap. I think these three teams here, Southampton, Burnley, and Leeds, might be a toss up. And then the next four set, Brighton, Newcastle. The next three sets, so Brighton, Newcastle, and West Ham, they might be toss up too. So 14th, 15th, 16th are the teams that will be they'll be like safe, but like they might be thrown into a relegation scrap, especially with West Ham and how just rocky their defense is. And 11th, 12th, and 13th are teams that are basically safe from relegation. They're safe and secure, but not good enough for the top 10. So Southampton, they've brought in Kyle Walker-Peters, who was basically, if you're kind of watching the Tottenham documentary, Mourinho froze him out. He didn't have much game time at Tottenham. That's why he moved to Southampton on a loan. And in return, it was a swap deal and a trade deal that Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg went over to Tottenham. They brought in a highly rated center back in Mohamed Salisu from the relegated Spanish team Real Valladolid. They have a good team. They have a good base of defenders in. They have now a good defender in Salisu that will be pairing with Bendernick. They have a good back pairing, left right back pairing in Ryan Bertrand and Kyle Walker Peters. They've only lost Pierre McCoy, but they do have the free kick maestro in um, JWP or James Ward Prowse. They have one of the best strikers in the Premiership um, in Danny Ings, or Tottenham fans might know as Danny Inzaghi, for him scoring that outrageous solo against them during New Year's Day last year. So I think they'll probably end up in love because they don't have enough reserve quality as what the other teams will have. In 10th, I'm going to be putting Sheffield. Sheffield United will be in 10th because they have the same team. It's just that Dean Hendo's loan has expired and that he's going back to Man U, which we will talk about them later. I think we'll talk more about Dean because I think he might be like a goalkeeping rotation over on Man U's side, but back to Sheffield, I think getting Ramsdale is actually a good replacement as he's a pretty decent goalie. Their team itself, I think, I don't really watch most of their games. I think their team itself is they have a really good manager in Chris Wilder. Their formation, they play really good attacking football. They're one of the they're very underrated. They did really well last year for most of last year until the back half of the season. They fell off. But they do have a good baseline with their manager and the players they have. I think their best player, in my opinion, their best player is Sander Berg. I think his name is Sander. Yeah, Sander Berg, this Norwegian player that they've brought in from uh Gake. Yeah, they brought it from Gake. He is their best player by far. Um, in ninth, this might be controversial. I'm putting Leicester in ninth. Leicester, let me see. I think that's how you spell. Let's see. Oh no, I spelled them wrong. Leicester are gonna be ninth because I think they cannot replicate the season they had last year, in which most of the top, most of the big six teams, two of the big six teams had shockingly bad seasons in Tottenham and um Arsenal. Also, coupled the fact that Leicester, the players that they had at the time, well, during the season, the beginning, like the first 2/3 of the season, or 70% of the season, were actually healthy. The only reason why they capitulated to fifth is that once their big players started having injuries, like Chilwell, Matson, and Diddy. Like once those players started having injuries, like Soyuncu was suspended for the last game. Once those big four players, like their top players, start getting injuries, it's that they have to rely on Vardy in order for them to like win because their reserves, I think their reserves, like the players that they bring on from the reserves, I don't think they're quality enough to compete with the other teams, like the other 8 teams that are going to be ahead of them this year. I think the loss of Chilwell, who have they brought on? Who have they replaced instead of Chilwell? They've brought on what? Timothy Castine? I think Timothy Castine is more of a wingback, but he can defend. As noted, he's more of a wingback. Um, he's more of a wingback, but because the fact that um Atlanta, they played in a really interesting 3-5-2. Drift 2. However, I think their team itself, I think they don't have the depth compared to the other teams. In eighth, I have Everton. I think Everton's gonna. It's gonna be a toss up between these two for eighth and ninth. I think these two teams are gonna be better than Sheffield for certain, just because of the talent itself. Not Sheffield doesn't. They do have talent, but they are well coached and well led by Chris Wilder. Everton, I think Everton will be an eighth because of they have Ancelotti, who I think is still a really good manager, a really good man manager type manager, man managed type manager, and they've brought on some big boys to fix their midfield. So they've brought on Alan from Napoli, and they've brought on James. So they brought on because Ancelotti plays in a 4-2-3-1. So the review for Alan is I think they've I just got a message. My bad. For Alan is still a really good CM. He's still a really good CM. Um, he played really well in Napoli. He just only like last year Napoli had a bad season, and that most of the players didn't do so hot, which is why they got Alan for not how much did they get for Alan? They got 25 mil for Alan, right? Um, Alan, how much they got for Alan? 25 mil. They got him for cheap. They got him for cheap. They got Alon for cheap, and I think Alon is still a really good CM. They finally got James out of Real Madrid jail, which is pretty good as well. I don't know how much the price is for James. The moment James Rodriguez. Nope, they haven't said the price. They've confirmed. Yeah, they've confirmed that he signed. Is it? Yeah, they've got him in a reasonably wage of 77K, which is pretty good for James. You got a 2-year deal. I don't know how much his price is, but I think they will probably play a 4-3-3 with Richarlison. Richarlison is really good. I hope he gets into a bigger club. Tom Calvin, also a really good player as well. Hope he goes to a bigger club. Probably play Bernard, Andres Gomez, James, and then James is more of the attacking player, and then Alan as like your CDM. They Alan can play CDM for him. He can switch between Andres Gomez and Alon. They can both interchange, and then their defense is pretty solid with Sidibe, Digne, um, those two, and then who's their center backs? I forgot who their center backs were. I think they were missing a center back. They're missing one or two defenders. Oh, Yerry Mina and is it Michael Keane? I think so. Yerry Mina and Michael Keane. I think they're missing a center back. They'll probably if they have a center back, they'll probably be pushing up higher in the places. In seven, I think it's gonna be Wolves. Some people have put Wolves in sixth. I don't think they're sixth yet because they need to replace Doherty because they lost Doherty to Tottenham, which we'll be talking about them later. I think they've brought on their replacement in Mark Cow, so I'm interested to see how he plays out. But the big player that they've brought in is Fabio Silva. Fabio Silva will turn out to be really good. He'll probably they've brought him more depth, which is very good for them. That they've got a good manager in Nuno Espirito. They've managed to hold on to Raul Jimenez, which he has been linked a lot this summer to Juve, to Man U. I think they've done well to hold them in that team. And I don't have much else to say to them. They just need they're a good team. They'll probably do well again this season. In sixth, now I think as we return back to normality this season, Tottenham. Tottenham will be in sixth. I don't like how they play. I dislike their team. I just like how they've been play. They play with Mourinho as their manager. They're really fun, really attacking side when they had Pochettino, but Mourinho, I don't know, man. Mourinho killed their team. Mourinho makes them so defensive that, from what I've heard from Tottenham fans, is that their team just wants to go to sleep. Their team makes their fans want to go to sleep. I've watched Expressions Oozing's stream, his match streams, and he just said it himself, like their team their team makes them go to sleep. So yeah, Mourinho has made this team play boring. They've brought on some good players. They've brought on Doherty to actually see if they can fix their right back problem, because they have the Ivorian Ronald McDonald and Sergio Aurier. They brought in Hoiberg. They've brought in some steel in their midfield. They brought some steel and brought in some creativity as well. So that is good for them. Um, Fifth, I have Arsenal in fifth. I think my club will be in fifth this year. We have made a really good transfer window, in my opinion. The signings of Willian for free. We brought in Pablo Mari for a cheap 7 mil price, 2.5 mil price. But the two biggest signings I have that I feel like the big signings were, we're gonna announce really soon the re-signing of Pierre Emerick Aubameyang. Shout out to my boy Troops. And we have brought back Danny Ceballos, which the Ceballos Shaka pairing was amazing. Ceballos was more of the attacking one, but he also did his due diligence and defended well. And we have shored up our center back problems with the signing of Gabriel from Lille. We've done another robbery in Lille. We signed Pepe, now we signed Gabriel. Who's next? To be honest, who's next the Lille from the Lille team that we can sign? And then probably Jonathan David. Who knows? We can take Jonathan David. He'll play as Cam. So that once Ozil lets him do well in Lille for 1 year, we'll probably snap him up again. Who knows? Next summer. Jonathan David to Arsenal. A Canadian Arsenal. That'll be great. That will boost our North American influence, because we are owned by Kroenke, as he's an American. Our center back situation, I think, will probably have Saliba and probably pair him with David Luiz. David Luiz has done from the back after that Man City game. He's done pretty well for the most part. He does troll from time to time, but it is what it is. It's David Luiz. You know that he's gonna have troll moments, and then he has moments of where he's Maldini as fuck. I hope that we have enough funds. We raise enough funds to try to attempt to go for Partey or Our, as we've been linked with those two players. We can probably only get one, because I think those two, we can't get both, because those two are worth, both of them are worth 50 mil plus. So the rumors are that if PSG has to give us 30 to 35 mil for Bellerin, which they have only given us 25. We'll probably turn that offer down, because when we free let Bellerin go to PSG as a way to raise funds, we're trying to get rid of god damn Guendouzi. We're trying to get rid of him, so that we're trying to raise funds for him as well. And if we raise it like 20 mil, and then another couple mil for Socrates, like 10 mil. So that's 45 mil, and then yeah, we'll have enough to get Party, but it depends on if, because the window doesn't close until October, because this is a longer window this year. Transfer window for the Prem closes on October, Premier League 2020. They'll close on 10. It was open for 10 weeks, ending on October 5th. So they'll close next month. Yep. So if we get Party within the next month, that'll be amazing. In fourth, I think I'm going to put Manchester United. Manchester United will be in fourth, just because of the fact that the other three teams ahead of them have more depth. Manchester United, their main problem is that they lack depth. once one of their big boys go down, I think their other players are not the quality of the top three teams are going to be. Donny van de Beek is a really good signing for them, and that he provides both attacking and defensive qualities to that midfield, which has become one of the best midfields in all the Prem. Their attack is also really good too, with Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford spearheading to Trident. It's just that they are trying to still go for Sancho because I think they're in their mind the future of Green would be up top because Martial is just a stopgap right now. Their future striker is Greenwood, definitely. But I think they need another center back. They need another center back and they need another left back, which is why they are linked with Reguilon currently at the moment. Because Reguilon is not wanted at Real because he's their choice. He did well in Sevilla last year, which is why he got a team of the season so far card. And I think if they get Reguilon, their left back problems are secured. They just need a Reguilon or Tagliafico, then their left back problems are secured. But they do need a center back, which is more definitely they need a second center back to play with Harry Maguire. Probably like a faster center back, a quick center back, quick and strong center back, so that Maguire can basically be a stopper and the other center back can be a sweeper type situation. In third, I will put Chelsea. Oh shit. Chelsea have had probably the best window out of all the teams. They've shored up their problems and they are gonna try to get another keeper. They're trying to, as I've saw today, they are confident in signing Edouard Mendy. There's so many Mendys in all of football now. There is Benjamin Mendy. There is Nampijs Mendy from Leicester. There is Fernand Mendy from Real. They're gonna sign Edouard Mendy to see if he can compete or start over Kepa, which is one of their big problems. Is that Kepa has for his price tag has been really disappointing so far at Chelsea. They've fixed their left back problem in that they've brought on Ben Chilwell, who can actually play defense and is not a huge defensive liability compared to Marcos Alonso. They've brought on Timo Werner. They brought on Ziyech. They've brought on Kai Havertz. They've they've loaned out Sart because I think he won't really play much this year. They've brought on Thiago Silva, which is actually good because that will bring in experience. Also, with steady to ship as he will be a stopgap for like 2 years, couple years over at Chelsea, so that when Sarr is ready, he'll probably take over. They have Christensen, they have Rudiger, Zuma. They have decent defense, better defense than Man U in my opinion. I think they're both similar. Both Man U and Chelsea are similar in team. I just think that, in my opinion, Chelsea have more quality and they have more depth. And then from the news I've heard from Christian Falk, a really reputable German reporter, is that Kai Havertz, once the arrival of Kai Havertz will come, Kai Havertz will play at camp and will push Timo Werner out wide because Timo Werner can play out wide as shown during his time at Leipzig, where he did play from time to time as a right winger or a left winger in that team. So Mason Mount will probably be on the bench, which will save Tammy, actually. Tammy Abraham had a really good season last year, and that Chelsea relied on youngsters. And I think this year will be another improvement year for Pulisic, as recently our national team manager in Greg Berhalter has stated that if he keeps playing well, he has the potential to play for the big boys in Real, Barcelona, Juve, Bayern type teams. And second, I think this year, I don't think Liverpool will defend. I just think Liverpool, by the last couple games of the season, even during this year, they've looked. People are starting to find out how they are playing, and that they do have depth on the bench. I just think that they're just gonna. I think the injury bug will probably bite them this year. Because last year they didn't really have too many insane injuries until the back half of the year, where Henderson didn't play much at all, which kind of hurt them. in midfield stability as they had to play Ox as Ox is more attacking as Henderson is basically gives them a good balance of attacking and defending. 'Cause usually their midfield trio would be Hendo, Genie, and recently the rumors are that Koeman from Barcelona wants to take Genie to Barcelona as talks over in Bayern have been kind of stalled off between Thiago and Liverpool as Bayern have won the Champions League and Thiago has recently came out and stated um that Thiago is happy to be staying in Bayern, so things have cooled off by there. They're still gonna be a really good team. They might play more youngsters. I think Nico Williams has been playing more, but other than that, I think Man City will probably be your winners of the Premier League. If for 2020-2021, Man City have shored up. They've bought Ake from Bournemouth, which is a pretty decent deal, pretty good deal, as he's worth. They bought him for 40 mil. They're trying to buy Koulibaly as well. If they buy Koulibaly, their center back position is secure. They're secure for the whole year as they have Stones, Otamendi, like their wealth of riches on the bench is in bloody sane. They lost Sane, yeah, but they brought in Ferran Torres, so he's their replacement. And other than that, I think they've basically upgraded. They still have the same core. They still have the same insane players. Kevin De Bruyne is, in my opinion, the best CM, best camp. I think the best player in the Prem. The way he could change games through his vision, through his passing, the way he can score goals from outside the box, just ridiculous. And I think they will probably win. So that will be my um, team rankings or um, season predictions for the 2020-2021 season. I will be making a video at the end of the season when the season finishes if I did my predictions right. So if you do like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Comment if you have your own predictions, and I'd read the comments to see what you guys put. But also as a way for me to improve on my speaking, as I kind of stuttered a little bit. I said a little bit of a lot of uhs and such as a way for me to improve. But other than that, I will catch you all with another video. Peace.